Hello class, Dr. Nemecek here again with week 1 presentation for research methods in the health sciences. Again, this is Hodges University HSA 4702. And in the course you will find, if you go to the modules for week 1, you'll find that module 1.1 has an introduction and objectives there where I introduced to you what you're going to be discussing in this first week of the course and what you're going to learn from as far as your resources go. What you need to know about week 1 is that the first week of the course is derived from section 1 of the textbook, which I told you in the opening, the welcome video, and it's called Getting Started. And there are 5 chapters there that we are going to be discussing. Now your week 1 student learning outcomes, and again this comes directly out of your student learning outcomes that I've listed for you in the syllabus, is that by the time you are done with week 1, you should be able to be familiar with the basic definitions and sources of research. You should be familiar with regulatory protections of human subjects in research. You will be able to discuss the development and refinement of a research problem. You should be able to understand how to review existing published related research. And lastly, you should understand the steps to conducting a systematic review. Now that goes hand in hand with Chapter 1 Introduction, and when you take a look at the book, it'll go through what that chapter involves, which is give you a definition for defining research. It'll describe the types of research that you need to become familiar with. It'll describe and discuss the importance of research in the health professions, and it will begin to develop a scientific approach to study and practice that you as a student need to become familiar with if in the future you decide to do any research in the health industry yourself. Chapter 2 does the same thing, regulatory protection of human subjects and research. You go through the items in the textbook. It'll tell you 65 different things there that you need to learn as far as your learning objectives for that chapter goes. Chapter 3, the research problem. They're going to tell you how to develop a research problem, why that's important, and how you write that up. Chapter 4 is the review of the literature, and this is where you will learn how to review literature for the purposes of conducting research. And Chapter 5 teaches you about a systematic review and how you can identify 5 main types of systematic reviews that will help you to establish your own research project. So that's what you'll find in the textbook resources. So again, when you're finished looking at the introduction objectives in Module 1, 1.1, 1.2 talks about the readings and resources. It'll tell you that your course textbook, which you're already familiar with, is Introduction to Research and Medical Literature. Again, we're using the 5th edition, and it will tell you that in this first week of the course you need to read the first 5 chapters, and I have provided you with PowerPoint presentations that come from the publisher, Jones & Bartlett, for chapters 1 through 5. And what those PowerPoint presentations do is help you to hone in on specific important information, which in turn is going to help you with your quiz and with your assignments. And they're very helpful information, so make sure you take the time to take a look at those. I also have listed for you in Readings and Resources 1.2 course websites of interest. I've listed there the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, or AHRQ. Click on that link and that will take you to the government website that is essentially the Bible for the U.S. government that tells us as healthcare people working in the industry, these are the requirements for conducting research that you need to be familiar with. This is what the law says you can do. This is what the law says you can't do. And it goes into great detail relative to the research process as a healthcare person working in the industry. I also have given you a link there for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for their website called Current Research, and it'll give you a flavor of what the CDC is currently looking at as far as healthcare research goes. And again, I think it's important for you to take the time to look at all these and explore these websites, because then and only then will you begin to understand that the area of research in the healthcare industry is very broad and covers just so many things that until you actually see what they're talking about and you see all the different topics that are available to you to look at and understand and get educated about, I think that you'll find that quite interesting. And that will help you eventually in making up your mind about what you want to do relative to research is concerned once you decide that you want to progress your education. Let's say, for example, you want to go for a master's or a doctorate degree in the future. You're definitely going to be doing research related to those two degrees. So the importance of this course will come into play there, and hopefully you'll remember a lot of the things that you learn here. And then last but not least, I have listed course videos, and for week 1, there must be about 8 or 10 different videos there that I've downloaded from various resources that give you very simple explanations about some of the things that you're discussing in week 1. And you'll find that the same thing is going to be true when you go to Module 2 or Week 2. You're going to have readings and resources, you're going to have websites of interest that I'm going to post for you, and you're going to have course videos. And again, those are all geared towards that particular week that you're looking at. And also, by the way, there is a link in your course that is just called Course Resources that has all of that stuff listed for you and just on one page. So you don't have to do it strictly from the modules in each one of these sections. You can actually go to that link and look at that information and find what it is that you're of interest at that particular point. So that's what you can expect in week 1. Again, if you have any questions about the course what the criteria is from the syllabus after you get a chance to digest that, and what you need to do to start getting through week 1, send me an email first and see if I can respond and answer your questions. Or if you'd rather, you can give me a telephone call. And again, you can readily get me Monday through Friday between 9 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. So good luck with your week 1 studies. I look forward to discussion board participation. And don't forget that by the end of the week, you have a written assignment that you have to also submit and a quiz that you have to take. So manage your time accordingly, and again, I look forward to your engagement in the week 1 discussion board. Have a good week.